Welcome, Thorkil, Sonne, to Germany, to our social innovation lecture series. By creating Gesellschaftliche and your foundation, you became a social innovator. So my first question, as always, is what does the concept of social innovation mean to you?
Well, that was a terrible, difficult question. When I started, I didn't know that I was doing social innovation. But I definitely had a good feeling that I was doing some innovation, something really new here. And I think for me, social innovation, that's when you do something out of a feeling that you have to do it. And then you'll find the answers on the way. In my case, it was my son and the prospects or the lack of prospects for the future that made me quit my job and start on a journey. I didn't know where it would end. I didn't know many of the steps, but I knew that there would be hundreds of good reasons why I should just get back to my previous job as a technical director, but there's one reason why I should do it anyway, and that's the future of my son. Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, you came from the IT sector yourself, and in 2004 you founded Gesellschaftliche as a company that used the competencies of people with autism. Why did this matter to you? You already mentioned your son, and especially how did you come up with the business idea?
Well, I could see from my son that even though he has a disability label, he was very skilled in many ways, and I could see that when he was in his comfort zone at home, he was the most wonderful kid you could want, caring, loving, clever, always kept his deals. When we made an agreement, you could count on him. And I think he could be a wonderful employee for someone who could see the same as my wife and I could. But in Denmark, if you're not good at social skills and you're not flexible, you risk being bullied at school, you risk being rejected by the labor market. And I thought that was unfair to the society, because we spend so much money on things that does not work, to the corporate sector, because they may never be able to get access to the skills of my son and others like him, and to the people and the families who cannot find rest in life because they're constrained, they are being rejected from the obvious opportunities that are there. And my background has been in the IT sector, so I could see that the good memory, the structured mind, the structured way of working, sticking to agreements, passion for detail, and very often they have a flair for repetitive tasks. And all these tasks or these skills would be wonderful for tasks like software testing, quality control, data entries, analysis. I bet that if you look, you'll find at least 5% of all tasks in any sector that would fit very well with the skill sets of the people I know of.
There are a lot of young leaders that start out with an idea just like you, and they find it very hard to put their idea on a level that, you know, is first of all profitable and then scalable and then going into other countries. I read that your idea is a case study at Harvard now and was replicated in various countries. Is there any advice you could give to social innovators how to get to a certain level? Or is it just trial and error?
Well, I think it's hard too. But you need to have an ability to learn from others. You cannot have all the competences needed to do that. And in my case, I think I've been lucky because the concept has been appealing to so many, and very many have opened their door. Not the banks, because they ask for my exit strategy and do not share my ambition to change the world. But I found a lot of really good people in the private business sector who understands what I'm doing. It's more difficult to find customers among the authorities, even though they should have an extra incentive, because whenever I employ someone, they can be taken off the list of those who just receives money from the system. But I think get a professional board right away. Spend the money needed on good accounting, because if you start out in the wrong way, that will haunt you for so long time. And then it's very important to realize when you should step aside to have some more operational professionals to take over the operation. Because being an entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur, you may have your highlights in the startup phase, but not on the operational phase. And I think I have been lucky to start up specialist on the first, and then had a CEO to take it. And then I've started up the foundation and had someone or other to take it. So seek knowledge, seek experienced people, get an accountant on board, and then you just have to go for it all the way. Don't let anything blow you aside. I developed a philosophy that when something does not work as you planned or intended it to do, then that's because there's a better solution waiting to be found. And if you have that as a philosophy, then any challenge will be kind of a spark for you to find better solutions.
It's already the last question I'm asking. In your case, it's a very personal incentive that you had. And do you think that a social innovator needs this kind of personal relation to their projects to really succeed?
Well, I don't know. I think many would be successful without having it, but I think this has galvanized myself, and I don't have any doubt that I will reach the global goal of enabling 1 million jobs. And if I didn't have this personal situation and story and motive, then I'll probably feel quite insecure now of how to deal with all these expectations waiting out there, this goal, this vision of a labor market with equal opportunities for all. But I feel a kind of inner drive and inner peace in mind that I'll make it if I can just combine all the energy and all the skilled people, just like Matthias Prössel from Munich, who is in a situation like myself, a father with a child with autism. So what will the future bring? He has the same motivation. He will do it here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.